স্বাগত গণশক্তির এই অনুষ্ঠানে আমাদের সঙ্গে রয়েছেন সিপিআইএম সাধারণ সম্পাদক সীতারাম ইয়েচুরি। এই মুহূর্তে দেশে, বিশ্বে এবং আমাদের রাজ্যে টালমাটাল একটা পরিস্থিতির মধ্যে দিয়ে আমরা চলছি। বামপন্থীরা এবং সিপিআইএম চ্যালেঞ্জ তৈরি করার ডাক দিয়েছে। কিভাবে দেখছেন, কি পরিস্থিতি, বিশ্লেষণ কি, আমরা সীতারামদার থেকে শুনব। সীতারামদা, আপনাকে স্বাগত। ওয়েলকাম টু আওয়ার প্রোগ্রাম।
Thank you.
Sitaramda, first thing is on last 5th April there is a impressive rally held in Delhi, and the farmers, workers and the agricultural workers union. What is the impression? What is the impression as a whole in the political scenario of this rally?
You see, this rally had made a big impression in the sense that the working people in our country, the most exploited sections of our country, they are virtually on a war path against the Modi government to improve their livelihood conditions and create better conditions for rural India, particularly agricultural sector, which is vital for the country and the people as a whole. So on the one hand, this discontent amongst these most exploited sections is growing. On the other hand, the inequalities are rising exponentially. The communal corporate nexus, which is very clearly visible in the Adani episode, that is actually creating inequalities of a massive dimension. The last 2 years, 40.5% of the wealth generated has gone to 1% of the Indian people. For the bottom 50%, only 3% of this wealth was there. So you see, rich is getting richer, poor are getting poorer. There is a tremendous discontent among the poor. They want these policies to be changed in favor of the people. So that is one stream. The other stream that is going on, what will this impact, is that neglecting all this communal corporate nexus is sharpening communal polarization, destroying your constitutional order, the foundations of the constitution, destroying democracy, imposing an unbridled authoritarian control. So through that they are trying to, and manipulating the media, controlling the media, much of the media, and manipulating the social media. So they are trying to create a situation, create a disconnect between the people's actual lived reality and their false consciousness of a Hindutva, nature.
That question.
So that is what the current churning that is taking place in India. Which will win? People's lived reality or this false consciousness of a Hindutva identity? So that is the actual battle which is finding expression in various political manners.
Also, there is a question that whether our country is heading towards a dictatorship. In many occasions, opposition have raised that issue, especially after the washing out of the parliament, the last session, the government itself, in fact, made it washed out. So, what is your assessment of the situation?
Well, I think we are very, very far advanced in the process of establishing a dictatorship, an authoritarian dictatorship. We've already moved very, very far ahead. Now the 17th Lok Sabha, it has now been shown, will be the shortest Lok Sabha in the history of independent India since 1952. We are seeing the pressures on the judiciary every day, how they want to control the judicial appointments. We are seeing that the foundational pillars of our constitution, like secular democracy, economic sovereignty, social justice, federalism, all under assault. And then you're seeing independent institutions set up, like the central investigating agencies or the election commission. I mean, all of them under pressure by the executive to do their bidding. So what else is this but a clear sign of a very, very oppressive totalitarian dictatorship on the march? That has to be stopped, and Indian democracy has to be saved.
But the mainstream media is keeping a mum, in fact, over the whole situation, and given this corporate media. So, what is the alternative in that form?
You see, the mainstream media is the corporate media. And what I was just talking about is the corporate communal nexus. So they are hand in glove. So you don't expect them to say something else. They are as much partners of helping the imposition of an authoritarian regime in a country. So the alternative is actually people's struggles and a very, very strong ideological and a political struggle to meet the Hindutva onslaught and this corporate communal nexus. What the Modi government is trying to achieve is to replace the secular, democratic, republican constitution of India with a rabidly intolerant, fascistic Hindutva Rashtra. That is their objective. To achieve this objective, they have on the one hand, through the corporate communal nexus, mustered the support of the Indian ruling classes. And they mustered the support of imperialism by offering the sale of India, telling the imperialist countries, you can come and loot India, and I'll permit that loot by you, but don't oppose what I'm doing internally. So they've got both imperialism and the Indian ruling classes support for their project. That is the danger we must all realize. That is why they are able to do all this, because they control the government and the state power. So it is imperative to safeguard the secular democratic India, our constitution, our democracy, that the BJP must be removed from controlling the government and state power.
Right. Comrade, as far as in our state is concerned, West Bengal, since last few years, after TMC assumed the government power, etc., there are situations, communal tensions during Ram Navami and that kind of occasions and programs. So, in the Bengal also, there are allegations against the TMC government of violating democratic norms and consistently suppressing people's voice. So, what is your assessment on this situation here in West Bengal?
You see, the West Bengal situation, it is very clear that the rise of the TMC was based on politics of violence. I mean, there is nothing new for the TMC, for destroying democracy or unleashing violence. And how many? More than 300 of our own comrades have been killed by them. So this violence and this terror, the politics of terror, politics of violence, that is the mainstay of the TMC. Now that is combined with also a very high degree of corruption. So there is a people's alienation from them. Now in order to meet that alienation, more anti-democratic and authoritarian measures will be taken. In that sense, they are doing same things like the BJP is doing wherever they are in power. Similar things. And there is competitive communalism. If the BJP and the RSS talk about Ram Navami, so does the Trinamool Congress talk about it, instead of taking them on frontally. So the question here in Bengal is that you will have to defeat both the BJP and the TMC if you want to restore to Bengal its pride in what it was at one time.
One thing is in our state, the TMC is posing itself as an anti-BJP force. Nationally, the CPIM and the left also is calling for the large unity among anti-BJP force, democratic forces. So, how far TMC is reliable in this?
Nobody can give any certificate about TMC's reliability. They were in the past in the NDA. Your chief minister herself was a cabinet minister under 𝑦𝒃𝒂𝒄 government, in the 𝑦𝒃𝒂𝒄 government. And then now here she poses to be anti-BJP. So when it suits her, when it suits the Trinamool Congress, that they will decide accordingly. There is no principled commitment by them on any of these matters. Democracy, safeguarding constitution, democratic rights of the people, on these there is no principled commitment. It's an opportunism flirting what suits them. So that is their character, that all of us know. But in the overall situation in the country, what we are envisaging, the left, and that is what we have done in the past also, we played the role, we'll play the role even now, that whether it is in 96 when the United Front was formed, whether it's 2004 when the UPA was formed, both the United Front and the UPA were formed after elections. Before elections, what happens? In each state, depending on the concrete situation, the effort to maximize the pooling of anti-BJP votes takes place. In Bengal's reality, it will have to be maximizing the polling of anti-BJP, anti-TMC votes. That is what we will have to work towards. Likewise, in Kerala, it is directly between the CPIM-led LDF versus Congress-led UDF. In Telangana, it is a front that will be led by the 𝑺𝒃𝒐𝒕 𝑪𝑔𝒃𝒕, Telangana Rashtriya Samiti in government there. In Maharashtra, it will be the NCP and the Uddhav Thackeray group, the Congress, that's Agadi. In Bihar, it will be the Nitish RJD, Congress left, that Mahagathbandhan. In UP, it will be Akhilesh-led, combination. So each state will have its own specificities. And after that, the All India formation that will happen. At that time, it depends on what is the position Trinamool takes, where it wants to stand, what is the position the AAP takes. Both of them, we have been consistent. 2004, 61 left MPs were elected to Lok Sabha. 57 out of the 61 went to the Lok Sabha defeating Congress candidates. But then we still supported Manmohan Singh government for the sake of India, which our commitment. So our commitment is clear. So that they'll have to decide at that time.
Okay. In the national scenario, there is a allegation against the opposition that they are fragmented. The state to state they are varying. You have explained the situation. On the other, the BJP is projecting a strong PM, a strong state, a strong everything. So how to combat this version?
Well, banning beef eating in the northern states and promising imported high quality beef for people in Goa, what is that? Is it fragmentation or no? The opposition parties are different parties. Here the BJP itself as a single party takes contradictory positions in contradictory places. They are opportunistic to the core. They can't talk in terms of differences, what is the unity before that. As I told you, unity and this so-called great, that invincibility of the BJP. I mean, this is all again a myth being propagated by your corporate media and carried forward by the social media. And look at the last 3 state assembly elections before the Northeast elections. In Gujarat, BJP retained its government. In Himachal, BJP lost its government. In Delhi, for 15 years it was controlling the Delhi Municipal Corporation. It lost that election to AAP. So out of the 3 states, in 2 it lost. In these 3 northeastern states, 180 MLAs, it got 46. In alliance with others, only 46 out of 180. In Meghalaya, it got 2 out of 60. It lost deposit in all the 58. So, what is this invincibility of the BJP? They are a party which polled the single highest percentage of vote of 37%. But 63% voted against the BJP. They thrive on disuniting that. That is where state level understandings to unite. That's why with the term we use, the pooling, maximization of the pooling of the anti-BJP vote. That is what has to be achieved. That's what we are working towards.
Now that has to be done on the basis of an alternative policy perspective that has to be explained among the masses. As far as the left is concerned and as far as the opposition as a whole is concerned, what should be the alternative in two fronts? One, as far as the Hindutva is concerned, there is attacks on constitution, and on the other, on the livelihood question.
You see, first of all, on the issue of the constitution and attacks on people's democratic rights and the other things that we spoke of, a steadfast defense of the Indian constitution, secular democratic republic and democracy, that has to be the basis for this sort of a unity. As far as the people's religious sentiments are concerned, that is their private affair, that must be respected, that must be honored, and no violation of that can take place from any end. So that is the principle by the basis of which we say your faith, your right to faith, your right to religion will be safeguarded. But the same right must be there for everybody who believes in, including atheists who don't believe in that, which is what the Constitution provides. So that has to be safeguarded. As far as the people are concerned, livelihood of the people, today there is no dearth of resources in our country. 11 lakh crores of rupees Modi has given since he became Prime Minister. He waived the loans of his corporate cronies. Every day there are tax concessions to the rich. You stop all this, recover those loans, which can be, legally you can do it. Recover those loans and use that money for public investments to build your much needed infrastructure. Immediately, rural roads, your irrigation canals, your various things that are required. Immediately there will be job opportunities for crores of youth to do these public works. Now, when these youth are employed, not only do their lives improve, they start earning their money. When they start spending the money, all your MSMEs, the small factories that are closed today, they'll start opening up because demand will increase. So that is how livelihood can be improved and the economy can be revived. So that is there, obviously. That is the left answer. There is no need for us to borrow from anybody. Our own resources are sufficient we have. Except, that's why we say, देश को नेता नहीं, देश को नीति चाहिए. You need policies by which we can improve the livelihood of the people.
ये नीति की बारे में क्या ये जो अदर जो ओपोजिशन पार्टीज है उनके साथ लेफ्ट के कोई बातचीत हुई है जो एक किस बात पे हो रही है?
हो रही है कि क्या अल्टरनेटिव पॉलिसी या डायरेक्शन क्या होना चाहिए. कुछ लोग कह रहे हैं कि भाई हमें एक कॉमन मिनिमम प्रोग्राम पहले घोषित करना चाहिए. कॉमन मिनिमम प्रोग्राम पहले घोषित करने में भी दिक्कतें होती है क्योंकि बाद में कौन रहेगा कौन नहीं रहेगा, साथ में वो चुनाव के बाद ही तय होगी. तो इसलिए सब पॉलिसी डायरेक्शन होगा, पूरा दस्तावेज हो या ना हो, लेकिन ये प्रॉमिसेस होंगे कि ये सब किए जाएंगे.
एक डायकोटोमी के रूप में आ रहा है कि कैपिटल एक्सपेंडिचर इंक्रीज हो रहा है, गवर्नमेंट भी बोल रहा है कि हमारा कैपिटल एक्सपेंडिचर इंक्रीज हो रहा है, लेकिन उसके साथ साथ जो एम्प्लॉयमेंट बढ़ना चाहिए था, एम्प्लॉयमेंट तो नहीं बढ़ रहा है. तो इसका कारण क्या है, ये क्यों हो रहा है?
कैपिटल एक्सपेंडिचर कहाँ पे इंक्रीज हो रहा है?
इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर पे बोला जा रहा है, गवर्नमेंट
बोला जा रहा है. तो वो एक्चुअली इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर बनाने में लगना है ना, तभी तो नौकरियां सृष्टि होगी. अब कैपेक्स आपने अनाउंस कर दिया, उसके अंदर बहुत सारे पहले अनाउंस किए हुए वो सब भी मिला दिए आपने, और ये कह रहे हो हमने इतना 10 लाख करोड़ का अनाउंस कर दिया, तो प्राइवेट सेक्टर भी अनाउंस करे. प्राइवेट सेक्टर भी कुछ अनाउंस कर रहा है लेकिन कोई नहीं जा रहा प्रोडक्शन में. अरे कोई भी प्रोड्यूस करेगा उस समय जब जो प्रोड्यूस करेगा उसको बेचना है ना. अगर जो माल जो उत्पादन होगा वो बिकेगा नहीं तो ना मुनाफे बनाएंगे ना आर्थिक विकास होगा. अगर उसको बेचना है तो लोगों के हाथ में खरीदने की ताकत होनी चाहिए. लोगों के हाथ में खरीदने की ताकत नहीं है तो कैसे बिकेगा? तो क्या कर रहा है प्राइवेट सेक्टर? कैपेस के नाम से वो फंड पूरा आपके मार्केट्स में जा रहे हैं, फाइनेंस मार्केट्स में स्पेकुलेशन बढ़ रहा है। कितना भी तुम्हारा क्राइसिस हो इकोनॉमिक, सेंसेक्स तो बढ़ ही जाता है, बढ़ते ही रह रहा है। तो वो है ये पूरा पैसा। कोई पैसा प्रोडक्शन में नहीं जा रहा। प्रोडक्शन में नहीं जाएगा तो ना एम्प्लॉयमेंट क्रिएट होगी, ना इकोनॉमी रिवाइव होगा। अगर प्रोडक्शन में जाना है तो लोगों के हाथ में खरीदने की क्षमता चाहिए।
You have explained the alternative regarding employment generation. Two things are biting us most, the common people. One is employment, another is the price rise, huge. So on the price rise front, what is the left perspective, alternative perspective?
You see, the price rise is happening because you're keeping the interest rates high, thinking that there's too much money in the hands of the people, which is a wrong understanding. And because of too much money, you don't want to make interest rates cheaper, so that more money will go into the people's hands. So because of that, the high interest rates, that's what USA is doing, the rest of the world is following. And our people are very eagerly doing it, our monetary policy committee. Now, this is actually depressing demand more. And this price rise is happening because that is the only way in which speculators and the people who are they are making their money. 2 rupees a kilo for onions at the mandi market in Maharashtra, and it sells at 20 to 25 rupees a kilo in any of the urban metros. That middleman making this money. So that is why this entire agricultural policy, the reforms have been basically directed at providing more easy profits to the middleman, which is Mr. Modi's government's basic social base also. So that is what that they are catering to. And because of that, this inflation is rising. It's not rising because people are demanding more. It's rising because of sheer speculation.
The question is, what would you do? A left, if left can dominate the policy orientation, what would left do to?
First of all, control the distribution of your agricultural products, because this is food inflation-led inflation generally. What is happening in India? The lead is being taken by food and energy. First thing we'll do is, as far as energy is concerned, remove all cess and surcharges that Modi government has imposed, through which it itself clearly says that nearly more than 3 lakh crores of rupees it is mobilizing annually. Once you do that and reduce the prices of petroleum products, the cascading effect on inflation reduction will happen. Secondly, regulate your agricultural markets. You have laws for that, which you sought to repeal, but then you could not repeal, but you are doing it through the back door. So control food inflation, energy inflation. When both are controlled, the impact on rest of the inflation will be seen, obviously. And that can be done.
Well, comrade, as far as the Lok Sabha election is coming, in fact the Karnataka election will be on 10th May. So what is the main task for the left and the CPIM in this coming period?
Main task for us in the coming period is to work to mobilize and maximize the pooling of, as I said, anti-BJP votes with other secular democratic parties. And at the same time to project the people's struggles, on the strength of which these alternative policies have to be projected before the people. So both have to be combined together. So that is what the CPIM do, and that's why we are in touch with all the secular parties. We are in the midst of discussions with them. I'll be going back later tonight. Mr. Nitish Kumar is already in Delhi meeting various leaders. So we'll go catch up and then see how to carry this forward, this process. But like it happened in 2024, post-election, a non-BJP secular democratic combination will emerge.
This is very much possible, as you speak.
Very, it will. That's what we are working for. We should be able to do it.